Good morning. It is Wednesday, September 28th at 10 a.m. We're going to go ahead and get this meeting started. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. My name is Penny Masheri. I'm the Deputy City Administrator here in Smyrna. Joining me on our board this morning is directly to my left, Mr. Bo Jones, Assistant Director of Public Works, and to his left, Mr. Richard Garland, our Director of Parks and Recreation. We have just a couple of items of business today, so we'll hit item 2A first. Item 2A is 2022-454. It's a public hearing variance request, V22-057, allow an accessory structure on lot 393, 857 Woodleaf Park Drive. Applicant's name is James Boris. This item is going to be tabled until October 12th to the next meeting. I'm going to ask for a motion to table.
Motion to table V22-057.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. This item has been properly moved and seconded. If you would, please vote. Thank you. Item 2A is tabled until the October 12th, 2022 meeting by a vote of 3-0. Next item on the agenda is item 2B, 2022-479. It's a public hearing, variance request V22-060. Allow new construction on lot of record below minimum requirements. Lot 420. The address is 2178 Elizabeth Avenue. Applicant is Sean Ross. Ms. Crow, if you would provide us the background.
All right, good morning. Caitlin Crow, Planner 1 Community Development. So this variance is V22-060 to allow for new construction on a lot of record below minimum requirements. So the subject parcel is about a quarter-acre vacant lot located on the west side of Elizabeth Avenue. The subject parcel was originally platted back in 1952, which was prior to the current zoning ordinance, which wasn't implemented till 1976. The applicant is proposing to build a new 3,700 square foot, two-story single-family home on the vacant lot, which will consist of 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. The facade will be a mixture of hardy plank as well as board and batten on the front facade, and then hardy plank on all other elevations. The assistant city engineer has reviewed the proposed driveway location and is supportive of the location. The lot is currently 11,130 square feet, whereas the R15 zoning district does require a minimum of 15,000 square feet in size. Since the subject property is an existing lot of record, this is not a self-inflicted hardship, and it was again originally platted back in 1952. The proposed home will meet all the R15 zoning requirements, and no other variances are needed for this request. Community Development has not received any calls in opposition to this request, and it has been properly posted. So after reviewing the variance application, staff does support the request and recommends approval with the following standard stipulation. Approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon the development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan and elevations submitted with the variance application. And with that, I can answer any questions.
I'm going to ask one, and it's
Sure.
probably going to show that I wasn't listening fully. But
Okay.
the variance request is because the house is below the standards for that lot or above the standards for that lot?
So the house itself is not. It's actually the lot itself is below 15,000 square feet.
Okay,
So the lot itself is below,
Okay.
but the house meets all of our variance requests. Or
All right. And nothing we can do to, other than a variance to remediate that? Okay.
correct, yeah. Without the variance, nothing could be built on this lot. Yeah.
Any additional questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Is the applicant here? Wonderful. If you would please make your way to the podium and state your name for the record and address, I guess.
Hello, my name is Sean Ross.
Wonderful. Thank you. Ms. Crow has provided us a good summary of the variance and the request that you've made. Do you have anything additional to add?
No, this has been years in the making. I think back when I bought the lot, I think if I'm not mistaken, the zoning requirements were less strict than 15,000 square feet. So I think I was told a couple of years ago it changed. So it was kind of a whiplash because I've been working on these properties for a while. The kudzu was a nightmare. and I mean a literal nightmare. And there was a dilapidated house on one of them, and it took me a while to get down. And like I said, this has been years in the making, and it's finally coming to fruition. And then this happens. But from what Caitlin said, this is pretty normal stuff. So.
Okay. One of the requirements is the kind of standard condition that Caitlin read out. Are you familiar with that condition, and are you good with that?
I'm a builder by trade, so I've worked with Caitlin since 2016. So I'm good.
Okay, wonderful. This item is actually up for a public hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to speak either in favor or against, if you would please make their way to the podium. If you would state your name for the record.
Stephen Caudell. I hadn't planned to speak, but I actually live in a house right beside this lot. A fence separates our properties, and he's not kidding. The kudzu is insanity. I've been fighting that for 10 years myself. So I know that we've had zoning variances in this neighborhood many times to build smaller houses than are allowed. And so many of us have hoped for a long time that the neighborhood would sort of make a turn, and a lot of houses have been gutted and flipped in the last 5 years. And so our neighborhood's really coming along. I'm very excited about that. And so when I got his letter, I was like, finally, I got a house next to me and the kudzu goes. So I haven't spoken to anybody in the neighborhood who's got a problem with it. I know it's just a lot variance thing. So we're kind of excited that it's going to happen if it does.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for being here today. Jill, did you need an address too? Okay. Do you guys have any questions for the applicant? I kind of skipped that and went ahead to the public hearing. Okay. With that, I will go ahead and entertain a motion.
Motion to approve variance request V22-060, allow new construction on lot of record below minimum requirements, lot 420, 2178 Elizabeth Avenue. Sean Ross.
Second.
This item has been properly moved and seconded. If you would, please vote. Great. Item 2B is approved by a vote of 3-0. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking care of that kudzu. Next item on our agenda is item 2C, 2022-480. It's a public hearing and variance request V22-061, reduce the rear setback from 30 feet to 23.6 feet. Lot 593, 2790 Wright Street. Applicant is Richard Kolb. Ms. Crow, if you would please provide us the background.
All right. Again, Caitlin Crow, Planner 1, Community Development. So this variance is V22-061 to reduce the rear setback from 30 feet to 23.6 feet. So the applicant is requesting to build a new single-family home at 2790 Wright Street on, just like the last one, on a substandard lot. So variance was actually approved for the exact same variance you just heard back in March of 2022. So although the site plan and the elevations have changed since that original submittal, the intent of the original variance is still there, so thus that variance is not being pursued for a second time. However, for this new plan, the deck is encroaching into the rear setback, so thus the new variance is required. So this subject parcel is a little less than 1/4 of an acre, and it's located on the southwest side of the intersection of Walker Street and Wright Street. The applicant is proposing to build a roughly 4,000 square foot, 2-story single-family home right there on the corner lot. The facade will be hardy plank with a brick water table and will face Wright Street with a side entry garage off of Walker. The assistant city engineer has reviewed that proposed driveway location and is supportive with no site distance issues. So the applicant is proposing a 28 by 12 foot deck and porch for a total of 336 square feet off of the rear of the home, which will again encroach into that rear setback by 6.4 feet. So due to the property being a corner lot and well below that 15,000 minimum we discussed with the previous one, this setback requirements really creates a restrictive buildable area on the lot. So the proposed home is pushed as much to the front setback as possible to both minimize the number and scale of the variances requested. The proposed plan does have a walkout basement since the topography of the lot falls away from Wright Street towards the rear. Since a flat patio is not feasible on the lot, the proposed deck would provide some outdoor living area off of the main living space for the applicant. Without the variance, any outdoor deck space would only be allowed roughly 5 feet. And so due to the constraints of the site, they are going to extend the deck to a more common 12-foot depth. Community Development has not received any calls in opposition to this request, and it has been properly posted. So after reviewing the variance application, staff does support the request, and again, there's the standard stipulation. Approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon substantial compliance with the site plan and elevations submitted with the variance application. And again, I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Crowe. Does the board members have any questions? Okay,
All right, thank you.
is the applicant here? Great, if you would please come forward and state your name for the record.
Sure. Richard Cole.
Wonderful. Do you have anything additional to add?
Nothing to add. I would say that our home is 3,000 square feet, not 4, that we're proposing. I think 4,000 would be a bit excessive size home for this lot. But 3,000 we feel like is actually probably a little smaller than some of the surrounding homes. We just need a little more room for a deck so that we can make it a little more marketable.
Okay. Board members, do you guys have any questions for the applicant?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Crowe actually read a stipulation for you, the standard condition. Is that something you're familiar with and you're comfortable with that?
Absolutely.
Great. This is a public hearing. Let the record reflect there's no one here other than the applicant and staff, so we can move forward with that. I would now entertain a motion on this item.
Motion to approve V22-061, reduce the rear setback from 30 feet to 23.6 feet on lot 593 at 2790 Wright Street. Richard Cobb, applicant.
Second.
This item has been properly moved and seconded. If you would please vote. Item 2C is approved by a vote of 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good
Thank
day.
you, Caitlin. I hope Rusty's having a good vacation. Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All the weather.
Florida was not the great week for that, I am afraid.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You're welcome. Thank you. We have one final item today.
Oh, this, I guess. Okay.
We have just one final item today. It's the approval of the minutes. That's item 3A, MIN 2022-71, approval of the September 14th, 2022 License and Variance Board meeting minutes. If I could get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
The item has been properly moved and seconded. If you would please vote. Item 3A is approved by a vote of 3-0. Unless there's any other business to be brought before the body today, we'll consider this meeting adjourned at 10:14.